Hello and welcome to another AV Gives Back from home. My name is Miss Kelly and you are?
I'm Isla.
Isla. You were going to say something else. What grade are you in, Isla?
Third grade.
And who's your teacher?
Miss Bose.
Miss Bose. Okay. This month's AV Gives Back service project is very similar to last month when we were helping families in need. Last month, do you remember what we gave? What did we donate?
Toys.
Toys, holiday toys for kids in need, which is great. Is it a necessity?
Yes.
It's not a necessity. I know a lot of kids probably think toys are a necessity. They're not a necessity, but they're wonderful to get and they're definitely brighten their day, right? Yes. This month, we're actually going to be giving necessities, things that people need to live. And so we're going to go over that a little bit later. But first, I would like to start with our book. This is called Maddie's Fridge. When Sophia and Maddie played at the park, they stretched their toes to the sky. They climbed to the top of the ladder and flew off the end of the slide. They stayed until the buildings grew long shadows and even the taxis stopped honking. Let's play on the climbing wall, Maddie said. No way, Sophia said. I can't reach. Yes way. Maddie scooted up to the top of the wall. Your turn. Sophia put a foot on the bottom rock, grabbed with one hand and stretched, but she couldn't reach the next hold. Sophia's stomach growled. I give up. Let's get a snack. No way, Maddie said. Let's stay here. Yes way. Sophia ran to Maddie's building and raced up the stairs. Wait, Maddie ran after her. Maddie was the best climber, but Sophia was the fastest runner. Sophia swung open the door of Maddie's fridge. What have you got? We have milk, Maddie said. I'm saving it for Ryan. He's still little. Why doesn't your mom go to the store? Sophia asked. We don't have enough money. But what if you get hungry? We have some bread, Maddie said. I guess I'll go home to eat, Sophia said. Please don't tell anyone, Maddie said. Okay, promise? I promise. Is that a lot of things in their fridge? No. Sophia ran home past the bookstore and grocery store. The sun went down behind the buildings and took all the colors with it. Good timing, Mom said. Dinner's almost ready. Louis was wrestling on the floor with Pepito. Sophia opened the refrigerator door. Pepito peeked inside. Do they have a lot of things in their fridge?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, it's full. Sophia's fridge was full of milk and eggs and tortillas and cheese and lettuce and jam and salsa and tofu and even half a can of dog food. Here you go, Mom said. Sophia and Louis each had a plate of fish and rice. Mom had a plate of fish and rice. Even Pepito had his bowl of dog food with a little bit of fish and rice. Maddie and Ryan only had some bread and a small carton of milk. Sophia couldn't tell Mom. She had to keep her promise to Maddie. Not fish again, Louis said. I want cheesy pizza bombs. Cheesy pizza bombs are a treat, Mom said. Fish is a good source of protein. Is fish good for kids? Sophia asked. Yes, Mom smiled. Fish is perfect for kids. That night, Sophia had an idea. What is she doing? What is she doing in the corner there?
She's putting fish in a bag and then going to put it in her backpack.
Let's see what happens.
I know what
I
happened.
know what happens. Yuck, Maddie said the next day. Oh, Sophia said, double yuck. Fish may be good for kids, but fish is not good for backpacks. At least not when you put it in the night before. Is that right?
Yeah.
After school, Sophia and Maddie raced to the climbing wall. Sophia got there first, but Maddie scrambled past her to the top of the wall. Sophia stretched and stretched. Keep trying, Maddie said. You'll get it. I can't. Sophia jumped down. It's too high. That night, Sophia, Louis, and Mom ate frittata. Pepito had his dog food with a little bit of frittata. Maddie and Ryan still had an empty refrigerator. Sophia couldn't ask for help. That would break her promise. She had to try again. Are eggs good for kids? Sophia asked. Not as good as cheesy pizza bombs, Louis said. Cheesy pizza bombs are a treat, Mom said. Eggs are good for you. After dinner, Sophia packed eggs for Maddie and Ryan. You see the quarter?
Why not?
I don't know. Well, I guess, do you think either one is going to do very well? Not if she does it the night before. Let's see. Yuck, Maddie said. Double yuck, Sophia said. Eggs may be good for kids, but eggs are not good for backpacks. Look at the trippiness. So gross. Sophia and Maddie raced to the climbing wall. Sophia won again, but Maddie shot past her to the top of the wall. Sophia grabbed one hold, reached for the next, and came down with a thump. That happens sometimes, Maddie called. This is impossible, Sophia said. Keep trying, Maddie said. You'll get it. That night, Sophia, Louis, and Mom had burritos. Pepito had his dog food with a little bit of burrito and no salsa. Maddie and Ryan still had an empty fridge. Sophia wished she hadn't promised Maddie. Are burritos good for kids? Sophia asked. Burritos are very good for you, Mom said. Not as good as, Louis started to say. You should pay attention to nutrition like your sister, Mom said. The next morning, see, she got smart. The next morning, Sophia put 2 burritos in her backpack, along with tortillas, beans, cheese, and even some milk. No thanks, Maddie said. You haven't even looked, Sophia said. Is it fish? Maddie asked. No. Is it eggs? No. Is it gross? I don't know, Sophia said. Maddie shook the backpack. Something sloshed. Let's look together, Maddie said. 1, 2, 3, go. Burritos are good for kids and good for backpacks. Do you want some milk? Sophia asked. Thanks, Maddie said, but I'll save the milk for Ryan. Sophia and Maddie raced to the climbing wall. Sophia won as usual and tried to climb. You can do it, Maddie said. Take my hand. Woohoo, I made it to the top, Sophia shouted. We're the tallest kids in the park, Maddie said. Thanks for helping me, Maddie. I couldn't do it alone. Maddie shrugged. That's what friends are for.
Mama, doesn't Sophia know that that there's a such thing as lunch boxes?
I guess she's learning. She's learning how to pack a lunch and that you probably shouldn't do it the night before. After they finished playing, Sophia walked home past the bookstore and the grocery store. Her own fridge was full of milk and juice and chicken and yogurt and bread and carrots and even half a can of dog food. She thought and thought and thought. Maddie's fridge only had 2 tortillas and a cup of beans and a bit of cheese and a little more milk than before. Sophia didn't want to break her promise, but she couldn't help Maddie alone. Sophia told. She hoped Maddie wouldn't be mad. I'm glad you told me, Mom said. Let's see what we can do together. They loaded grocery bags with milk, flour, chicken, carrots, sugar, oil, and even frozen meat and vegetables. Louis pulled his package of cheesy pizza bombs out of the freezer. He thought and thought and thought some more. Then he put his cheesy pizza bombs in Maddie and Ryan's bag. For a treat, he said.
He's putting in a bowl of dog food.
Yeah, the dog wants to help too.
Like,
At Maddie's apartment, the moms talked. Louis and Ryan played. Sophia and Maddie ran to the park. You broke your promise, Maddie said. I'm sorry, Sophia said. Are you mad? A promise is important, Maddie said. You're more important, Sophia said. And I wanted you to have milk too. Maddie smiled. Are we still friends? Sophia asked. Always, Maddie said. Double always, Sophia said. Cheesy pizza bombs, Louis yelled. Our moms made cheesy pizza bombs for a treat. Sophia and Maddie raced up the stairs. Sophia slowed down so they could run together. That's what friends are for. Do you like that book?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've read that many times. Okay. Want to answer some questions?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know what insecure means?
It means like not very stable.
Yeah, not stable, not really knowing something, unsure about something, right? Okay, so what do you think food insecure means?
Not good anymore.
Not good. So that's probably like expired food, right? Rotten food. But if a family is food insecure, what do you think that means?
They don't have a lot of food.
They don't have a lot of food. So they are unsure. Remember, we said insecure is like unsure. They are unsure about where their meal might come from. Their next meal might come from, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've seen individuals experiencing homelessness on the street, and maybe they're living in tents or in their car. Maybe they're just in a sleeping bag on the street. Do they have a refrigerator or a pantry to put food in?
No.
No. So do you think some of them are food insecure? They don't know where their next meal is coming from? Yeah, probably because they don't have a stack of food somewhere that they can just pull from, like you might have at home. But what about people who have a home, like Maddie? She had a home, right? Yeah, she had a home. Can they be food insecure? Absolutely. They have a refrigerator, probably. They have a pantry, but is it possible to not have enough food to fill them up? Yes, absolutely. And can you tell who is experiencing food insecurity just by looking at them? If you're walking down the street, be like, that person doesn't have enough food. That one does. That one doesn't. Can you tell? No, you can't tell just by looking at them. So it could be even your friends at school, just like Maddie and Sophia, right? Yeah. Okay. And can you think of some places that can help people facing food insecurity?
A food pantry.
Food pantries. You know what? While you said that, I'm going to share my screen. This is a picture actually of Isla when she was itty bitty. I think you were 4. This one right here. This is a food pantry in Pasadena called Friends Indeed, and they help a lot of people who are homeless or who have food insecurity. And basically, it's just a big building with a bunch of what?
Food.
Bunch of food, a bunch of shelves filled with food, and refrigerators and freezers filled with food. Okay, I'm going to show one. I'm going to show one more. I'm going to show one of you stocking the shelves. This one right here. What are you putting on the shelves?
Pasta.
Pasta. Pasta is a really common thing to have in food pantries. Why do you think?
Because you don't need to refrigerate it.
Yeah. And does it last a long time? Yeah, it can last a long time on those shelves. Really good. So there are food pantries. Can you think of any other place in the community where you might be able to get food? If you don't have a lot. Another place we visited is homeless shelters, right? Yeah, and we've made food packs for them before. And even if you're not able to sleep at that shelter, sometimes they hand out meals to individuals experiencing homelessness or food insecurity. What about at school? What are you getting for free right now?
Lunches.
Lunches, free lunches. And the government helps pay for those. Yeah. So right now it's free to everyone. But during the school year, if you have food insecurity, you may not have enough money for food, then you could still get free lunches, even when it's not during a pandemic. Yeah. So those are all really good sources to help you get food when you may not have enough at home. But Isla, question for you. What about stuff like household staples? Do you know what I mean when I say staples? What's a staple?
like then like hygiene thing.
Yeah. Okay. I thought you were going to say the metal thing that keeps paper together. You know, that kind of staple.
Yeah.
Not that kind of staple. Staples are necessities. It's things that you need. So what are some, please sit down. What are some things that we need around the house that are necessities?
Toothpaste, toilet paper.
So things to keep our body clean. You named this word earlier, hygiene items. What about things to keep our house clean?
Mops and vacuums.
Yeah, just like cleaners and things. Do you think you can get those things at school or food pantries or homeless shelters as easily?
Maybe at homeless shelters, but not the vacuum and mops, but maybe like the toothpaste.
They're a little bit harder to find. So if you're a family that's experiencing food insecurity, you might even have an easier time finding food than you have finding other things you need around the house. Oh, another thing, have you seen those little free pantries? You know, the free libraries that pop up, you can pull out. Have you seen the free pantries around town? They have a few in South Pasadena. So that's another place to get food and things like that. Really good. So during the pandemic last year, we started what's called a Staples pantry. And for us, it's just like a storage room with shelves, kind of like the picture we showed you earlier. And we can keep household necessities in there. And there are a few families experiencing food insecurity in South Pasadena that we help. And so when those families have a need, they email Miss Kelly and I can pull items off the shelf and deliver it to them. Isla, why do you think it's important to make sure members of our community have what they need?
Because we want people in this community so they don't die.
So we want to keep them healthy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think lots of people from time to time might need some help? Yeah. So sometimes you're in a position to help. You can get an extra package of toilet paper at the store and give it to someone in need, or an extra cleaning something at the store and help someone in need. And sometimes you need help. And there are people in the community who have a little bit extra to give, who can help you when you're in a time of need. So that's how healthy communities work. They help each other, make sure everyone has what they need. Okay, so back to our AV Gives Back service project this month. We are trying to fill the shelves of the Staples Pantry with food and household staples that are okay to stay on the shelves for maybe a few months. So it can be food like canned soups, canned beans, things like that. Pasta, what's that other box we have over there?
Rice Krispies.
Rice Krispies. And do these need to be in the refrigerator?
No.
No, so those will last for a few months, probably 6 months or more. They could stay on the shelves and they could still help families in need. But let's also talk about things to keep our house clean. So we already showed the cleaning spray. We have cleaning things, sponges, anything like disinfecting wipes, really important right now. Those are good household items that we can also put on our shelves. And finally, there's those hygiene items to keep our bodies clean. We already showed toilet paper, but what else? Soap, toothpaste,
whatever this is.
Shampoo. So right now we're collecting items, basic items, household items, hygiene items, pantry items that are unopened. And if they're hygiene items, it's good to have full-size things because these are going to families, not individuals. We're collecting them. So you can have your grown-up check the weekly Wildcat for Miss Kelly's email, and have your grown-ups email me and I'll give them the drop-off location. And finally, don't forget that for every AV Gives Back service project you do, you can earn what for your classroom?
Wildcat points.
Wildcat Adventure Points. So have your grown-ups enter your name, get your Wildcat Adventure Points, and you can earn points for your classroom and be entered into a raffle. Okay, that's it for today's project. Thank you for joining us today. We will see you next month on another AV Gives Back. Bye.